Who is that guy?
It's George McFly.
George McFly.
It's George McFly.
That's George McFly?
You're George McFly.
Partying with the posse, out to powwow with the boys. It was getting late, had to work at 8, yeah, we was making noise. We were sitting in a circle, it was my turn to BS about a beautiful girl who rocked my world and left me in a mess. There was no exaggeration in the story she was telling. She was physical perfection, personality compelling. We were one as two can be, stuck like static cling. That's what happens when bodies start slapping from doing the wild thing.
Working all week.
Hey, another person coming to town performing Alicia Keys, September 17th, Wells Fargo Theater. All the info you need to know, how you can win tickets coming up on the party. So you're sweet because you have to be, no?
Oh, no, I'm not. I can be rude. You don't know who I am.
Oh, really? That's what you think? Okay, goodbye. Glamorous, delicious, the Ferg, delicious. 95.7 The Party, and George McFly wearing a positive mental attitude, taking you to a higher platitude, and the only gratitude I seek is to make your interest peak on the music that makes you freak and dial my heart. Giving that ever-loving jump start. Here's boys making noise. 95.7 The Party.
Cut it up one time.
Chipmunks, little squirrels, even gerbils too. The cows go moo and get verbal when they do. They're all having fun, it's so understandable. All making love, yes, all the little animals. The pigs go boink and the sheep go baa. Horse go and my wife goes ha. Okay.
Come on.
Let's talk about sex, baby.
Kiss FM. It's George and Melissa at 6:37. Almost impossible trivia. By the way, cloudy and rainy, and only a high of 64. Rain for the next 24 hours. It's a pilot. It's a pilot.
Yeah. And to see if the show will fly. That's why it's called the pilot.
Right. The new 92 Kiss FM. Good morning. It's George McFly.
And this is going to be shown at with the film festival in Sundance. And nobody tells me to get dressed
And
up.
Can.
Oh, and Can.
Yeah.
We're gonna keep on, keep on, keep on moving. We're gonna keep on, keep on, keep on moving. Keep on singing and dancing all through the night.
Okay, that's it. I think we tortured Doug enough.
George and Melissa.
Just before 7 o'clock on LA's hottest music, KPWR Los Angeles, Power 106. I'm George McFly. Now, you know, I bet you this guy never gets many on-air recognition stints. His name is Art Bolo. He videotapes disc jockeys all over the nation, and there just so happens to be a radio convention in Los Angeles this week where every good guy, record rep, and geek hang out and party together at. And today, my show is being videotaped by Mr. Bolo, so young disc jockeys all over the nation can view this as many times as they want and still learn absolutely nothing. LA's hottest music, Power 106, and George McFly, Hump Night Live and Alive, despite this nasty weather. Now, don't let it play in your mood. Don't let it waste your positive mental attitude. I'm all crossed out, baby. Talking about crisscross and airwaves up, got the love, Power 106. LA's hottest music, Power 106. LA's hottest music, Power 106. George McFly, so you say you do anything for passes to the hottest underground rave in world history? Well, it certainly ain't a mystery. Tomorrow night between 6 and 8, be by the Bugs Bunny star at the Walk of Fame and look for the tiny man with a large hat and a tiny house. And say, James Brown is dead. Guarantees your passes to go underground and rave. Tomorrow night with Power 106. Yeah, sometimes all I get to say and get paid well to say is LA's hottest music, Power 106. LA's hottest music, Power 106. And George McFly, well, that hose head Lozano is called. He's wanted by the CHP, the DMV, and most importantly, the FCC. Last night he was cited for bypassing the speed limit. His mouth was moving a mile a minute, but hey, that's my style too. Talking so fast my tongue turns blue. Well, plus Lozano always breaks out that no-dose, so the energy goes peak until the midnight hour on Power 106.
Y'all ready for this?
Killer BB96, my name's McFly and I got the itch to get out the boombox, just can't lose, gotta take a stroll.
Things that make you go,
Gotta think about, I just wanna party going, I just can't stop going, That's cool, but no need to worry, you both just met, no need to hurry. Got a whole life to party and love. Parents give you grief, don't push, don't shove, say, hey, I'm having this relationship. It's hard enough, don't make me flip. So mind your own business, give me room. CNC is on with things that make you go. I was in the crib, sitting by the fireplace. Color me bad, and I adore me more. And if you don't adore me back, leave a couple of pounds of chocolate to deal with it. Killer Bee B96, George McFly. You know what would feel good to the extreme? I mean, better than sex? Wait. That ain't funny. Hey, maybe you're in the money. You have your winter sticker around your car's rear because we are going to steer you into the hundreds and thousands of dollars we're giving away so far. Coca-Cola's Cruisers out with B96. She needed the money. Killer BB96, George McFly, 60 minutes of Chicago's hits, 1 hour commercial free for you from me. Also, 2 minutes ago or so, you installed a brand new car stereo system. We just played Tony. Really sorry if you missed them. Now, redefine that term, maximum sound capacity, because I highly recommend you fully extend its potential. I mean, turn it so loud you're going to start crowing like a rooster, because here comes that unbelievable sound getting down EMF on B96.
Everybody, wherever you may be, my name's Larry. My call sign is Kilo 7 until November. Welcome back to Ham Radio Live. Oh, it's been a while, but I haven't forgotten how to do this. Please subscribe. We don't monetize. Notice you didn't see a whole bunch of ads pop up, especially those ones you can't skip. Jeez. I watched like 10 YouTube videos when I was in Hawaii. I couldn't stand it anymore. I finally just stopped watching YouTube altogether and started watching cartoons. It's a little more entertaining, you know. Anyway, please subscribe because you're not going to see a single ad in this place. That's what we do it on purpose so that people can enjoy the show from beginning to end. Hello, everybody, wherever you may be. Wow. I didn't think we'd ever get back. Okay. Here it is, the story. All right. So, we get home, right? Plane lands. Everything's cool, right? We're like, yeah, 25 minutes early. Woo! All right, cool. So, we land. Everything's great. You know, the plane comes all in, just nice and steady, kind of flows right down to that runway. No problem. Good to go, right? Hey, we're early. Nice. So, we get... My wife and I, we're kind of organized people, so it's just like, okay, look, I'll tell you what. Let me go to baggage claim. You just go get the van, and we'll meet. Cool. All right. So I get to the van, finally. It's like dark. I had to remember where I parked it because it was like, 10 days ago, 11 days ago. It's been a long time, right? So I get there, and I start this thing up, and literally every dash light, warning light was on the van. I'm like, oh, no. We're like 60 miles from home. This is terrible. What are we going to do? Well, hopefully we'll get home. So I got the van out of the economy lot, drove down to the airport, picked up my wife, grabbed all the bags, threw them in the van, and we got like a mile down the road, right? And I'm pretty tired because I've been sitting on this plane, and I'll be honest, it was hard. I was in a lot of pain that night. And so I get something to drink, I come out, and the van lights are hardly on. There's no lights in the dash whatsoever, and then we try to start the vehicle, and... yeah. Now, understand, it's about 10:30 at night now on a Sunday, all right? This is our van. And I'm like, okay, great. Now we're a long ways from home. How do we get everything we've got home? And by the way, I don't have any pain medicine anymore. It's at home. Perfect. Brilliant. Nice. Okay. So, thankfully, we have AAA. Call AAA. They try and jump it. Nope. Won't work. So they call a second vehicle, tow truck, come get us. They towed the vehicle to an unknown repair shop that I don't know, but I'm hoping they're not going to gouge a crud out of us. I'm like, oh no, this is going to be awfully expensive, So we get to this place at 12:30 in the morning, drop the van off. I now have a rental vehicle from Hertz Rent-A-Vehicle, and the lady gives me static when I get to the counter. She's like, well, sir, you're from in-state, and you're here late at night, and trying to rent vehicles. Looks a little suspicious. Says, look, lady, I have paid for this thing online. I'm stranded a mile away. My wife is in the dark, and I need this vehicle. I've already paid for it. Give it to me. She gives me the van. So I go get my wife. Now, because our van's dead, right? It's a Honda Odyssey EX. No, it's touring. Brilliant design. You can't unlock the doors and move them if it's dead. Okay, so now yours truly, who's already dead sore from the plane ride home and carrying a giant antenna bag with 2 antennas and a whole bunch of gear home, has to go and lift up all those bags out of the back of the van, shuffle them through the middle seats out to my wife and the tow truck drivers who are taking the stuff to put it in the new van that we got to go home, that we had to rent for $106 just to get home. Okay, we get home. What? Like 2:50 in the morning. And what do we hear when we come home? Yeah, pretty much. All night long. Our cat was in our closet, and let's just say that she made it her cat box. Yep. So, off to the vet today for the cat. Okay, thankfully the cat's just got a couple of things. She needs medicine every day now for the rest of her life. That's going to be fun. And we have to go back get the van. Van, by the way, $460. The vet bill, $463. The rental, $106. You can imagine how really thrilled I was with all of this happening right when we landed from paradise.
What we're dealing with here is a complete lack of respect for the law.
Oh my gosh. But we're here, right? We finally made it. That's why I'm 2 days late, because I've been running back and forth to Portland, taking rental cars back, getting our vehicle, getting the cat all the way back from the vet so we can get her taken care of. And by the way, she won't eat the medicine with the food, so we got to find a solution to that. But I said, finally, look, I got to do a show. It's time to finally have some me time. Hello, everybody, wherever you may be. That's the most crazy story I have ever had. I mean, seriously, it was like, what could go wrong? But then we found out on the island of Maui when we came home. No joke. Man, they had terrible rain, man. I mean, like bad rain. Okay, rain that's like serious. Okay, this rain was so bad, it was flooding, and I guess it reached a dam. So we had been on this road the day before on a Saturday, and literally the whole road washed out. The van, I mean, the dam breached. It's horrible what happened there. 1 to 2 inches of rain per hour on the Hana side, where we were on Saturday. Beautiful, just a beautiful drive. High surf is great. But those poor folks, we give our thoughts and prayers to the Hawaiians out there, because truly that's a tough thing to deal with for those guys. That's a very rural part of Maui to have that much rain. So, all right, we're going to talk today about something that y'all saw the other day on the show. It was on the Aloha net. I want to show you real quick a photo of this, because it was a photo that we had that was pretty, well, let's just say that some folks got a chance to see the show, and we were doing it live when this hit. This is exactly what happened. Let me show you real quick. Take a look at this and listen carefully.
So that means it's going to take some time to get here. It's got long ways to go. Of course, other areas within that region, depending on what they're getting, we should have a lesser impact because we're so much further away. But you also mentioned that the first waves, it's going to arrive within series if this continues to become the trend. The earliest wave that we could see impact the state is around 4:35 this afternoon. And Pete Caggiano was actually live on Facebook within the hour, and we actually have that saved there so you can watch back. Now, some people were asking if it does make way, if it does start to hit us, what coastlines would be impacted first? Of course, all coastlines would be impacted because there would be that wraparound effect, but Southwest specifically would be a bit more first. Right now, under a tsunami watch again, statewide for the island of Hawaii. Brenton.
All right, thanks, Tasia. We'll be talking to more officials from Pacific Tsunami Warning Center later in the show. For now, meteorologist Malika Dudley.
Okay, so that's what happened when we were there, right? I mean, did the show on the Aloha Net, the first one, that was on 7.088. Remember? We had someone that noticed that. Fred from our channel, he's in Delaware. Fred said, wait a minute, there's 7.088. What's going on here? We can't use 7.088. That's off the band. He's right. And I want to tell you, sorry for the audio. The audio is weird. Don't know what's going on with it. It's sat too long. It's like the car alternator, okay? It's got to be the alternator. Let's just leave it to that. Anyway, sorry about that. So, tsunami warning. We just had one thing after another hit us. It was interesting. I didn't even go in the water and swim. I didn't. I just couldn't, because I was worried if I did, my back would be shot. So we got home, and that's literally what the last 2 days have been, and why we couldn't do a show. We'll be back to daily shows starting now, but it'll be at 11 o'clock, hopefully, except for Friday when I have to go to the the back doctor and say, hey, we got to get this doggone thing fixed because this is killing me here. You know what I mean?
You've got a real attitude problem, McFly.
Well, you know, you're hurt. You got an attitude problem. And so I want to see if we can get this thing fixed. All right. Well, quick hellos. John, good to see you, brother. Thanks for being here. Same with Andy. Sorry for the audio quality. We're working on it. W6 Jim, thank you for the welcome back. Anders, thank you. Insurance on the cat. My goodness, wouldn't that be nice to have right now? So anyway, we're just dealing with it a day at a time. But she's good. It's not anything that's, you know, terminal, which I was a little worried about because she's an old cat. I didn't know. So there you go. So we're going to go over something that's really important. Fred brought it up the other day, and it's because of this, okay? When we were in Hawaii, we were hit 7.088. All right. Now, in the islands, like Mexico south to South America, there is an exception on the band plan. Okay, we talked about this briefly once before, and I want to apologize because I misread this thing. I truly did. I misread it because it was like, doggone it, man, I'm sure I'm right on this thing, and I was wrong. I really was. And it's because it's such a unique, how do you say this? It's such a unique little niche that's in the band plan. I want to show it to you, okay? When we look at 40 meters, okay, you notice here we're at 7.088. Okay, so you're at 7.088. Our band plan in the U.S. tells us that that's digital. Okay, we can't be on 7088 and use mic. We just can't do it because it's off the band plan. Well, if you happen to be south of the middle of Mexico, okay, or let me try and see. I don't know why this audio sounds so bad. Man, it's like somebody got in here and just messed with everything. Hold on. Let me just bring this up. Maybe that's going to be a little better. It's a little bassy, but it's going to take a little bit out of it. All right. So you got 7.088, right? All right. So when you look at the band plan, and a lot of people miss this, okay? Take a look at 40 meters. Take a look at the top. See that? There's a green area right up there at the top, 7.075 to 7.100. Now it says ITU 1, 3, and FCC Region 2, which is us in the U.S. plus South America. Okay, so it's Canada, U.S., Mexico, and, you know, South America. That's Region 2. But if you are west of 130 degrees, like Hawaii is, or below 20 degrees north, which is basically the center of Mexico south, you can use 7.075 to 7.1 megahertz to do voice. That's why you have the exception. And they use it. That's the whole thing. It did sound and look weird to a lot of folks here, and I know it did, but that's the exception. It's very rare you ever see that happen. So a little note, okay? If you hear the Aloha Net here in the States, and they're at 7.088, you can't work them because here we have to follow the band plan, that is in the United States, which means that we can't use phone there, okay? They can because they're in the middle of the Pacific and they're not likely to mess with any shortwave broadcasters, okay? There's going to be so much digital there. I don't know why they would go there because you got so much RTTY and there's people that like to use a lot of digital modes, but they find it useful, so you just got to let them go. They're either going to be at 7.088, 7.188, or on 60, or on 75. That's where they are. And we happen to catch them twice at 7.088 there in the islands. So that is the exception of why it works, okay? It's just that one little notch that happens to be at the top of the 40-meter band right there where they fit right in, okay? Now, not good for QSOs outside the States, outside of Hawaii, to the States, but works for them. And the other thing they do, a lot of NVIS. Most of the folks there work NVIS, meaning short antennas, right? They're not very tall, so they're going to transmit nearly straight up and come down. If they didn't on 40 meters, they'd go right over the islands and go out to Japan or Australia or to the US. That's why they do it. So it's always NVIS. So when people who are new to ham radio come in and they see NVIS, near vertical instance skywave, okay, it's a lot of words there. And it's like, gosh, what does this mean? What it means is it allows you to work closer in on a frequency that typically will go long, okay? That's the best way to do it. Helps you work more local and keeps you in touch with people who are local. That's why you use it. All right, in channel news, first of all, I want to take a moment to thank someone who was so doggone nice to me when we were gone. My goodness gracious, listen to this. I had a guy, one of our viewers, Chuck, all the way in Indiana. Chuck, these are expensive books, man. Holy crud. Sends me these 2 great books on Christ. This is great stuff, man. I was impressed. Like, man, you didn't have to do that. Spent $21.60 to send me a couple of books out of the blue. I was like, thank you so much. Wow. Chuck, thank you. His call sign is Whiskey 9 Charlie Bravo Mike, although he says it's switching to a new vanity call of November 9 Charlie Mike. That's pretty cool. He gets to keep the Charlie Mike. So, Chuck, man, thank you sincerely, and very much. I do mean that sincerely. Thank you. Also, in channel news, we're going to work on CW. There's going to be a segment we're going to bring in a few times each week to help with Morse code practice, myself included. Okay, I've got 8 letters memorized now, but I'm working on it. So I'm trying to get a little more proficient. If you would like to help to learn a little Morse code, then jump right in and see if you can help out with it too. If you have some tips, make sure and share them, because we're all here to try and make it work. My brother downstairs he's watching the show. Hi, Bob, downstairs. That's great. That's great. All right, let's see. Anders is here. Welcome, Anders. Good to see you, brother. Thanks for being here. Again, sorry for the really hissy sound. This is terrible. Gosh darn, man. I didn't mess with this. I don't know what happened. Trying to make it come away here so we don't have so much of this high end. It's just awful. And I don't have the EQ even on. There's EQ. And brings out some of it. I guess we'll just leave it in today. All right. Anders, thank you. His question, you have CB channel 11. Why is it so other bands like CB on 35 meters, on 50, so CB users can have long DX? Anders, I think the reason why they do that is because they want you to have a general idea of how radio works before you go and transmit long distance. When you have a license, when we're hams, and we do this for enjoyment, I mean, I know I do. If you do it for fun, and that's what you like to do, and there's nothing wrong with that, then there's responsibilities we all have to carry when we do it. You have to have a general knowledge of radio, the rules, making sure you don't just go off and be, an idiot on the air. That's the honest truth. So that's most likely why. I would say that you have to respect the great gift you've been given, which is a license. A license is earned, and it's something that you work for. Citizens Band, you don't need to pass anything. You simply go to your local truck stop or radio shop, buy yourself an 11-meter radio, and away you go. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think that's why. Good question. Hello there, Chris. First time from New Mexico. First time watcher. Big clap for him. Hi, Chris. Welcome to the show. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Thanks for coming. Check this out. This is a great name. Love it. Dingo Bradley, all the way from Ireland. He's Mike 7, Delta Golf Oscar. Dingo, thanks, brother. Appreciate you coming. Thank you so much. All right, so that's the little exception on 40. Again, that's why folks in Region 2 can work from 7.075 to 7.1 on voice because they have that exception. Okay, next thing we're going to talk about real quick. We're going to spend some time on antennas. One of the things, I want to thank Bergsgard from the channel. He's in Sweden. And Bergs, I know you're probably sleeping right now. You're going to watch this on replay. However, I'd like you to know, I really liked your comment where you talked about, maybe go into some basics, more basics of stuff that will help people. And I liked it. That's why we're going to work on the CW portion to try and learn code together. So we're going to focus on that. And I also went and purchased this. And we're going to go through a lot of antenna plans. This is the current edition of the ARRL antenna book. All right. This little sucker's expensive. But I will tell you, we're going to go through some antenna planning. And if you want to build an antenna, right, you want to put something together, make it work, have the enjoyment of creating something that gets you maybe all over the world, right? This book is fantastic. It talks about antenna theory, how it works, what impedance means, all the important necessities you need to know about how to do an antenna. Fantastic book. You can buy it at your local ham radio store, even on Amazon. They've got this on Amazon. So I highly recommend it. And we're going to go over a ton of antenna planning right here on the channel. So looking forward to sharing with you some good antenna plans. That'll be fun. So antenna, Morse code, what else do we have here? Oh, we're also going to do this. This is going to be a new segment to the show. I hope you like it. We're going to be on frequency. All right, just going to be on frequency. We're going to monitor throughout the show, okay? Today, all of a sudden we got a big blurb there. Hold on. All of a sudden somebody transmits. So we're going to be at 14.316 today. There wasn't anybody there when we started the show, but that was about 20 minutes ago. So I'll check frequency, make sure it's still available where I am. And if you'd like to make a call on the show, give it a shot. We'll see if we can hear you, all right? Checking frequency availability. This is Kilo 7 Hotel November. Wow, that was brilliant. Not using the amplifier. See, something went wacky here while we were gone. I'm not sure what happened, so I apologize for that. But that's where we'll be, 14.316. If you'd like to make a call, I'll be listening in one ear, and we'll see, okay? We're going to work on a few questions because that's the passion of the channel. It really is. We're going to talk about some of the questions on the FCC test because we haven't done them in 2 weeks, which really bugs me like crazy. I want to be able to give you an opportunity to learn for those folks that are still studying, okay? That's too important. So you're going to hear a little audio in one ear, probably both ears, from the rig, but we're also going to do the questions. So if I hear someone call in, we'll see if we make the call. All right, first question. This one's going to be on the technician, the first one. So there's only going to be 3 for each one, but 4 for the extra, okay? Quickly get them through. Again, if you want to make a call to the show, we're going to make this part of the shows from now on, okay? And I'm going to put it here on the screen so you can see where we're at. And so you can see exactly what frequency we're at if you'd like to try and make a call to the show. And we'll see about getting you on, okay? So we are right now at 14.316. We'll put it down there at the bottom so you can see it, all right? Okay, first question. What's a good way to guard against electrical shock at your station? Now, I tried to grab questions that are common to the 3 elements. I really did. So you'll find this question or a version thereof in many parts of the test. Every one of these appears in some form somewhere else, all right? The answer is all 3. Okay, you can use 3 wire cords and plugs for all AC powered equipment. It means ground, neutral, and power. Okay. B, connect all AC powered station equipment to a common safety ground. C, use a circuit protected by a ground fault interrupter. Those all 3 will help you against electrical shock. Number 4, ground your gear. Okay, ground your gear. Make sure it's grounded. You got to do that. Okay, so there you go. If you want to make the call, we're at 14.316. I'll keep an eye out, and if we hear you, we'll put you on the show. All right, one other thing I want to share with you real quick. I wanted this thing for 3 years, and it's kind of weird. It's not the watch I originally came for. It's different. While we were there, there's a small company in Hawaii. It's called Pono Works. Pono makes some fantastic watches. Look at this. Beautiful. I waited 3 years for this watch. This is made out of Hawaiian koa wood. Comes from the Big Island. It is a sustainable wood. They actually plant more trees. Okay, so they plant more trees. This is the watch, actually a koa wood face. They make this watch as well in a wood case. Basically, the wood is around it, right, with a wood band. It weighs maybe 2 ounces. No joke. Pono Woodworks out of Honolulu. Great small company, and they ship really fast too, from what I understand. Great stuff. Trying to get a second watch if we can, so we can contrast and compare. They have some very good styles. If you're a ham radio operator and you want to take a look at, what time you're making your calls, right? Simple. Grab your watch and away you go. This is called the Fisher 8. It was designed after the eruptions back in 2018 on the Big Island. All right, second question on the tech. Here we go. From which of the following locations may an FCC licensed amateur station transmit? This one comes up in multiple ways, okay? It'll talk about how far you have to be from an FCC licensed facility, okay? excuse me, I'm sorry, wrong question. Pardon me. Please forgive me. That's coming up. From which of the following locations may an FCC licensed amateur station transmit? The answer is D. The first three are going to throw you because they're on land, okay? Remember, it's from any vessel or craft located in international waters and documented or registered in the U.S., okay? This question comes up in different forms on the test. We're going to get there in a second, but on the tech, this is how it's done. You can transmit from any vessel as long as it's in international waters and the ship is licensed to the United States. All right, last question on the technician for today. Under what conditions is an amateur station authorized to transmit music during a phone emission? They love this question because it pops up on all three exams. That's no joke, okay? The answer is when incidental to an authorized retransmission of manned spacecraft communication. Retransmission. So, if you're playing for your friend a copy of You Talk to an Astronaut, okay, it has to first of all be authorized so you can do it. And second of all, it's got to be a retransmission. You can't just take it, say you have another radio, right? And you want to hit your mic like, hey, I'm talking to an astronaut, check this out. Throw your mic up to your other radio and all of a sudden you're, retransmitting and there's music in the background. That's a no-no. Don't do it. So that's kind of weird, but it is the one exception, okay? Steve, there you go. Good for DX when the sunspot is high. He's right. It works the same as 10 meters. 11 and 10, they're so close. 11 and 10 are basically exactly the same. Thank you, Steve. Steve's call sign is Golf 0 Lima, Quebec, Papa. Thank you, Steve. Good point, and thank you. You can do that, by the way. Yes. Anders, in Norway, we have only one license, only the hardest license in U.S. I think you have like 3 or 4 different license classes. We actually have 3. Yeah, there's technician, general, and extra. So only one in Norway. That's good. Gene, on the chart in the house. He's Kilo Bravo 1 Oscar from Connecticut. Welcome to the show, man. Good to see you. Thank you. Thanks for coming. We're honored and privileged to have you. All right, on to the general real quick. General. First question, which size of fuse or circuit breaker would be appropriate for use with a circuit that uses average wire gauge number 14? This comes up in different places on the test. It does, and the reason why is because many people, when they get their ham gear, are going to find out they're popping circuit breakers once they put an amplifier in there. Seriously, think about it. You got your rig, you got your computer most likely, you got a tuner, got a power supply, and then you buy an amplifier, right? And then all of a sudden, it's kind of like my car out there. Yeah, you all of a sudden you're popping circuit breakers and nothing's going on and you're screaming out loud. Yeah, you just have a problem. So 14 gauge wire inside your walls means you got 15 ampere circuit. That's what it means. If you bump to 20 to accommodate maybe an amplifier so you're not popping the circuit breaker all the time, that uses average wire gauge number 12. Big difference. So when you see these on the test, they don't mean much. They don't until you get the practical experience. See, that's the whole point. Once you actually do ham radio, these questions make total sense because you have experience using them, okay? Average wire gauge 14 is going to overheat if you just go down and throw a 20 amp circuit breaker in your circuit box because it's not wired to handle that much amperage. Make sure you either use 12 gauge wire or have an electrician do it. Put yourself some 20 amp plugs in your shack to handle it. Plus, you want to make sure to have your 20 amp circuit breaker. That completes the circuit. Make sure as well you get permits because if you don't, you could have a big problem. Okay, so 14 wire gauge is 15 amps. All right, next question, general. Which of the following modes is most commonly used for voice communications on the 160, 75, and 40 meter bands? The last show we did on the 24th of February, I made a complaint on this, and here's the reason why. That question mentioned 80 meters, not 75. You see, this is the part that really bugs me on the FCC exam. There are so many little pieces like this that just don't add up. For new hams, 75, they're going to say, what do you mean 75? I was on 80 before. What's the difference? The difference is they're the same. It's just that they separate at 3750. Okay, so at 3.750 megahertz, that's 80 meters. Anything less than that is 80 meters. Anything above that is thought of as 75 meters. But here's where the FCC throws the 75 at you, okay? You use lower sideband. A good rule of thumb, and this will come up multiple times in the test. Good rule of thumb, anything above 10 is upper. Anything below 10 is lower sideband. The only exception is on 60 meters. 60 meters is upper side, okay? Next question. We are on the general. Final question on the general. When is it permissible to communicate with amateur stations in countries outside the areas administered by the Federal Communications Commission? Okay, so you're talking to somebody, say, in Germany, okay? Is it okay to do that? You don't know. Well, here's the answer. When the contact is with amateurs in any country except those whose administrations have notified the ITU that they object to such communications. Now, the good news, there are no countries that are on that list that object. You'd be surprised. You think North Korea? No, they don't object. Next question. It's on the general. What happens to high-frequency propagation when the lowest usable frequency exceeds the most usable frequency? Okay. What happens is basically you don't have any communication, okay, because your lowest usable frequency is higher than the upper usable frequency. So no HF frequency will support ordinary skywave communications over the path. Remember, HF goes up to the ionosphere and bounces down, okay? VHF and UHF are point-to-point, okay? You're going to go tower to tower, antenna to tower, antenna to antenna. They're point-to-point. HF works differently, goes up off the ionosphere and back down to Earth. That's the reason why. All right, last ones. These are on the extra exam now in the U.S. First question. Which of the following describes authorization or licensing required when operating? Here it is, see? When operating an amateur station aboard a U.S. registered vessel in international waters. See, here's another boat question, all right? It's any FCC amateur license. That's it. You don't have to be an extra to work a radio on a ship. Just make sure you follow the band plan no matter where you are, okay? You could be in, let's say, IARU Region 3, which is in the South Pacific, for example. Maybe you're off the coast of New Zealand or Japan, okay? You still got to follow the band plan here because that's the U.S. and that's where you're licensed, okay? Next question, within what distance must an amateur station protect an FCC monitoring facility from harmful interference? The answer is 1 mile. You got to be within 1 mile or greater, and then you can't transmit. You can't put harmful interference anywhere near an FCC facility. Now, how do you know where they are? Contact the FCC. Make sure there's no one close by, and you should be good to go. Last one on the extra. Here we go. What is the minimum number of qualified VEs for outside folks that want to be in ham radio? We want you on the inside and get on the air, first of all. How many volunteer examiners, that's what VE means, are required to administer an Element 4 amateur radio license examination? All right, so first of all, there's no Element 4 anymore. It doesn't make any sense. But the fact is, for every single license, no matter what it is, 3. The answer is 3. 3 volunteer examiners are required to be giving you the test, okay? Once you have 3, you're good. They have to be licensed at the class above you, okay? Or at the same, above you. Have to always be above you. So if you're a technician, a general can give you the test. If you're a general, only an amateur extra can give you the test. So that's how it works in the U.S. All right, everybody, welcome to the show. We are back, thank goodness, after all that cash out of pocket. For gosh sakes, we're here. Great time in Hawaii. Wonderful time. Man, it was great. Met nice people. Curtis, a dear friend who became a good friend, Hana. Oh, my gosh. Hana was our security dude at the condo. Big Hawaiian guy. Big guy. Was in a terrible car accident. Had just the heart of a saint. Really a nice dude. Hana, if you're watching, want to send you some big love from the U.S., man. You're a good guy. You keep being who you are and take care of your mom. You're a good guy. Also, Kenny at the condo complex over there in Kihei. Kenny, man, what a joy it was to spend time with you. I love you, brother. Thank you. Still have my wedge you cut. Thanks for that. All right. So, antennas are coming. We got CW practice coming. Man, we got stuff coming. We will always be monitoring a frequency as well. Plus, we'll see if we can make a few calls. Hang on, let's go to the rig real quick. We'll see if we can make a few calls. These will be the first ones I've made since we did the shows in Hawaii. Let me first try and get a little bit of gain back on the screen so I can see everything. Forgot any gain. Just use my ears. Hang on. And we're right now.
Frequency, please. This is K5 X-ray Sierra.
K5 X-ray Sierra, Kilo 7 Hotel November. Just want to tell you 5 signal, 5-7 here in Oregon today. Over.
Okay, KN6 is GPR. Do I have that right?
Nope. Had 2 people jump in. Maybe. We'll see. You might be hearing somebody else. And again, sorry for the feedback. Hang on, we're going to turn down the amplifier here on the radio. We'll bring it down to 50 watts. It should cut back on the RF. Sorry again, not sure why it's doing that.
Well, I'm jealous. What's your name?
All right, so he's got somebody there. We'll move on. It's around 20 meters. Let's make it just a quick look. Somebody right there. Let's see if we can get him. Somebody right in here. Welcome to the show, by the way. It was a great trip. Had a good time. Survived the airplane flight, which was tough. Thankfully, the row in front, which is interesting, the row in front was empty. So I was able to just lay, my side and try and get some rest. It was a tough trip. Probably the toughest physically of my life. And I think the hardest part for me actually was just, to be honest, not able to rest. It was tough. And so that led to no QSO shows, and it made it tough. So I want to apologize for not doing a whole lot of QSOs there. It was very difficult for me to move the gear. After a while, we just got to the point where it was just too much. So I'm going to check the radio. It's been a while since I've used this rig. We're on the ACO 101. So I'm just going to bring down the bandwidth and take off the DNR in the contour. We'll see what we can come up with. Somebody there. Again, we're just missing whoever this is. Tell you what, let's just do this. Since we're already here, let's just go back to where we were. We're at 316, right? All right, hang on. So we'll just go to 316 and we'll see if it's available. This is frequency available. This is kilowatt 7 Hotel November. Again, just at 50 watts. Just to cut back on the RF, I'll need to source that out now. Checking frequency availability. This is kilowatt 7 Hotel November. And if anybody in the U.S. or North America, South America, Hawaii, want to make a quick call, here we are. By the way, let me show you something real quick. This is kind of cool. Hang on. I showed you guys this like the first day of winter, right? On the Geochron, right? Okay. Let me show you real quick the Geochron and where the sun is now. This is kind of cool. Let me show you real quick and go to a camera, which is thinking. There we go. All right. Take a look here at the Geochron, and you'll see we're nearly to springtime. Okay? Right where that figure 8, where it meets, that's when we hit spring or fall. So we've come up out of the depths of winter, and we come up the Analemma to springtime. Pretty cool to see that happen. And the days are getting longer again, which is great. All right, so let's go back to the rig. We'll see if we can maybe get a call and say hello to maybe somebody or two at 14316. CQ on 20 meters, Kilo 7 Hotel November, kilowatt 7 Hotel November, calling CQ. CQ20 kilowatt 7 Hotel November, Kilo 7 Hotel November, calling CQ. CQ on 20 meters from the Pacific Northwest of Oregon and streaming on YouTube Live. This is Kilowatt 7 Hotel November, calling CQ on 20 and listening. Might have figured out the RF issue. Hang on. Let's see. Bump up to 75. See how it sounds. CQ20 meters, Kilo 7 Hotel November, Kilowatt 7 Hotel November, calling CQ. CQ20, Kilo 7 Hotel November, calling CQ on 20 meters and listening. We're basically at 1-to-1 on this antenna. Just matters if somebody can hear us. All right. Check it out. Hey, Ishmael, you're back, man. All the way from the Caribbean. Nice to see you. His call sign is Juliet 72, India Mike Sierra. Ishmael, always a pleasure to see you, man. Seriously, thanks for being here. What a joy to see you. Appreciate that. Middle of the night, but there is Martin, Papa Echo 9, Tango India Golf. Middle of the night in Holland. Wow. Martin, thank you for coming. It's great to see you, buddy. My goodness, I mean that very, very much. Thank you very, very much. Rhea, first time I remember you being here. Nice to see you. Thank you for coming to the channel. It's a joy and a privilege. Thank you for coming today. All right, let's go back to the rig. We'll see if we can say a quick hello. Bump it up. We'll see if we can use 100 watts and see what we can do. Pull this mic back and give it a shot. CQ, this is Kilo 7 Hotel November, Kilowatt 7 Hotel November, calling CQ. CQ20 meters, live on Ham Radio Live, streaming to the world on YouTube, and calling CQ. This is Kilo 7 Hotel November, calling CQ on 20 and listening. Pull the tuner off. Give it one more shot. CQ20, Kilo 7 Hotel November, Kilowatt 7 Hotel November, calling CQ. CQ20 meters, live from the Pacific Northwest of Oregon and streaming on YouTube Live. This is Kilo 7 Hotel November, Kilowatt 7 Hotel November, calling CQ on 20 and listening. I can almost hear somebody way out there. Just not there. Just not there. Ishmael, bless your way. Bless you, man. Sorry, hearing you, but your way, low in the noise. 5-3. I'll take that in the Caribbean. Thanks, buddy. Thank you. Rhea, originally from 9Y. Look at that. That's pretty cool. Take a look. That's pretty sweet. Rhea, again, thank you for coming to the channel. It's really a pleasure to have you. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. We're the only live daily ham radio show that's on YouTube. That comes on just to basically talk, show a little bit about ham radio, and try and make it in a fun, simple way. Not hard, not difficult, not too technical, a little bit fun. That's the whole point of the channel, to bring people into ham radio. So that's what we try and do. Now we're going to try and hunt and get maybe a QSO or one, or maybe we'll do one. We'll see. Here we go. Hang on.
Yo he notado que en 80, según la época del año, las condiciones varían bastante.
Nice signal.
Corta distancia, por ejemplo, aquí en la Florida copia muy fuerte las estaciones. Recuerda que yo estoy aquí en la Florida, ¿no? Estamos un poquito lejos. Y por ejemplo, Willy, que está en Georgia, está relativamente cerca de mí, lo copio bien también, lo mismo.
You know you gotta try this one, right?
Maybe. ¿Quién
For
más?
newer, younger hams, just because they don't speak English doesn't mean they can't. Let's see.
Más lejos, pero a ti, bueno, tú estás mucho más lejos, pues, Dionisio, eso es normal. No te voy a copiar igual que a alguien que es más local para mí, over.
Kilo 7 Hotel November. See if they come back.
Esa modulación de Manny, óigame, excelente.
Yeah. Okay, so not much there. So we'll move.
Parece que está en los modos digitales.
Now, for new hams, you might wonder, why didn't you stop right here? It's because it's RFI. This isn't a signal. Listen. Hear that? It's simply a spot of RFI, which means radio frequency interference. So there's no signal there. It shows with a waterfall, but it's because it's radio frequency interference, not a signal. That's why. The person, I think, was at 14260. Let's listen. See if they're still there. They were in the 5 district, so we'll see. Weak one here. Hold on.
Yeah, this. I don't have. What was your call before? I don't have WO7C in the line. So you just pop up for me, Doc.
Kilo 7 Hotel November. I just brought the contour in to try and pick him up better.
Right, that's probably what it was.
Now I'll notch it a little bit to try and bring him in a little clearer.
Not the only one, but you kind of left a big hole here because you were so involved in EMS and all that kind of stuff. Politics aside, it's craziness. You know, a lot of stuff, good things going on in EMS, and you know, one of the
Ishmael getting a new antenna, MFJ 2010, 2040, 60, and whoa, wow, what is that? That's 40, 20, 10, and 6. Congratulations, Ishmael. Haven't seen that model yet. Very good.
But you were very involved in it, as I recall. Go ahead.
Kilo 7 Hotel November. Toby, my goodness, in Germany? You're here? Thanks for coming. That's the middle of the night there. Holy cow. Toby, thanks for coming, man. Delta Oscar 1, Tango Oscar Bravo. Toby, always a pleasure.
Is Lynn getting acclimated out there? How's she doing?
Yeah. All right. So we're not getting out here today, and that's okay. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes folks just don't pick up the call. It's the way it goes. That's all right. All right. Want to talk to you real quick before we end the show. We are going to work on antennas because that's something I think will help a tremendous amount of people. This is the ARL antenna book, 24th edition. Buy it at Amazon. Buy it through ARL. Buy it through your local ham radio supplier. It's about $50 US before tax. However, this is filled with plans. It's filled with all kinds of stuff that can help you learn about antenna theory, different kinds of antenna plans. I'm still flapping pages. Look at this thing, man. It's huge. You can learn a ton about antennas, all the way from what it means to build an antenna and why, to building a quality antenna. For example, maybe you want to work skywave. You want to work close in, like the folks in Hawaii do, but you want it to be really effective. That book will help you do it. If you want to build something, say, for 80 meters, good DX, that book will help you do it. If you want to work a good 6-meter antenna, sunspots are coming up. A few more years, we're going to have excellent 6-meter propagation. This book will help you. We're going to work on plans and building those antennas live on the show to help you learn how to build them and give you a little insight about how valuable that book really is. Also, going to be working on Morse code. For those folks that like to learn Morse code, like myself, We're going to work a little bit on code practice to try and get ourselves a little more proficient together. Plus, test questions to help you pass your test or upgrade your test license wherever you may be. All right. I want to thank you so much for watching the show. It is truly a joy to see all you guys. Mike Gain, my whole system is messed up here, Ishmael. I'm not sure what happened, but the gremlins came into the system once I was gone. Like the car. Okay. Same thing, like the car wouldn't start. Okay. We'll figure it out. And Mike, thank you so. Mike, that is really nice, man. You know what? Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm going to work on the gain here a little bit because I don't want to lose y'all. And I don't know why it's doing this. I'm sorry. I really am. Mike, this is a nice comment. And I want you to know that means a lot. Thank you. Thank you very much. That's the whole passion here. It's not anything but just helping people. And that comment hits home for me. Thank you very much for taking the time to write that. I mean that very much. All right. Thank you so much for watching Ham Radio Live. My name's Larry. My call sign is Kilo 7 Hotel November. Back tomorrow at 20 UTC with the regular show, talking about antennas plus license questions. And we'll be monitoring a frequency as well. Hopefully that you can make a call into the show. And since it'll be earlier in the day, it should be more simple for folks here in the United States to make that call. All right. Until next time, have yourself a wonderful evening wherever you may be. From Toby all the way in Germany to the folks that are watching in the UK, here in the States, down in South America. My goodness, you guys, you honor me beyond belief. Thank you. Until next time, God bless you. Thank you for watching, everybody. My name's Larry. Next time, we'll get together. Until then, goodbye.
This concludes today's regular broadcast schedule from WCCO Television, Channel 4, Minneapolis, St. Paul, Minnesota. Our studios are located in the Midwest Communication Center, 90 South 11th Street in Minneapolis, and our transmitter is located in Shoreview, Minnesota.